Okay. Okay. No. Guten Abend, Cologne. Ich kann nicht Deutsch und ich lerne langsam Deutsch. So please bear with me in English today. This is Harshita, and I work with CCAD. And today I'm going to talk to you about something that is an integral part of my life, literally and figuratively, fat. So, what is fat? Of course, everybody knows what's fat. You can see it here. The gym instructor says that these are the different kinds of fat in your body, and if you do different kinds of exercises, you can lose fat from different parts of your body. But is it so? Everybody knows this. What a scientist will tell you is that's not it. Our body has different kinds of fat. The first kind, which is the most common kind that all of us can visibly see, is the white fat. And there is another kind of fat called brown. It is present mostly during childhood, but in very small amounts during the adulthood in humans as well as in mice. And what you have to remember is that despite its really, really small amounts in the body, it has a huge important role to play. So we will play a little game, and we will see if you can spot the differences. Not very hard to spot. The white fat here has this huge lipid droplet, as we call it, and this is where it stores all the fat in your body. So a person like me has loads and loads and loads and loads of these. This, on the other hand, is how molecularly the brown fat looks like. It has numerous small lipid droplets, really, really lesser amount of fat than what your white adipocyte has, and it has these huge number of kidney bean looking like organelles that we call the mitochondria, which basically are the powerhouses of the cell that produce the energy. So, functionally, why are these distinct and why is it important? As I said, in a nutshell, the white fat is the one that makes you fat. The brown fat is the fat that makes you hot, and with absolutely no innuendos, once you got brown, the other colors let you down. With absolutely no innuendos. So, the title of my thesis goes, Role of Mild Mitochondrial Dysfunction in Regulation of Lipid, whatever. Sounds too technical to most of you. Trust me, I have just joined for PhD in October, and I don't understand anything of it. Anyway, so I decided today we are not at all talking about science. What we will talk about is relationships. What we will talk about is nice games. So are you guys ready? Yeah. Nice. So let me take a moment here and introduce to you my bae. I am madly in love with this guy. This guy is called Clippy. Where do you find my bae? This is how a cell looks, and this is precisely where it stays. And what are these? Remember, I told you in the beginning, the kidney-shaped like organelles called mitochondria. And even though it may seem that it's a very small protein, but it plays a huge role in the metabolism of the cell. What does it do by profession? It eats and it poops. Sounds very mundane, sounds like something that you and me do every day, numerous times, hopefully. But what it does is it's basically a protease, takes in proteins, chops them down into smaller pieces, and lets it to the cell for it to use. So basically, when you have lots of proteins in the cell, this plays a role in the quality control in the cell and prevents accumulation of harmful proteins and helps protect your cell. I will show to you a clip that is very dear to my heart. My friend recently had a breakup. This is the message that he sent to his girlfriend. I don't think you have enough time to balance work and relationship. I'm sorry, but we have to break up. The girlfriend replied, "What? I think you'll be useless without me. You'll realize my importance only once I am away from your life. You are making a huge mistake by taking me out of your life. Me being me, sad on life, look for motivations in these small things. I took motivation from this, and what I decided is to remove my bay, that is Clippy, from the cell in the mouse, and then study what effect does it have in the mouse. And of course, if the mouse does not have Clippy, the life should be devastated. The mouse should die within a few days, is what I expected, and that would be the biggest discovery ever. However, science is full of surprises. So, unlike what the girlfriend of my very dear friend had predicted, when you remove Clippy from the cell, the mice, which we now call Clippy minus minus, because as somebody explained in the previous talks, you use CRISPR to remove this gene. You use gene editing tools to remove this gene from the mouse. So we call it Clippy minus minus mouse. This Clippy minus minus mouse is sexier, but not hotter. I'll tell you why. It looks smaller. If you see the body weight for both males and females, it has much lesser body weight over age compared to the normal mice. The body fat percentage, and by this we mean the lean fat, by this I mean the white fat, is much, much lesser for both males and females. Boy, oh boy, where I had expected that I would have a groundbreaking discovery that the absence of this protein leads to devastated life of the mouse, what happens is that the mouse is happily dancing, and it can eat high-fat diet without even getting fat. Whereas a normal mouse gets fat after eating high-fat diet for 3-4 months, this is how sexy my Clippy mice look. I'm so jealous, so jealous. And of course, they do not have a body weight gain, and this happens for both males and females, so it's conserved across sexes. So, little bit of philosophy on the side. Coping on makes you a better person. This is what the mice were before we removed Clippy. After we removed Clippy, it became a super mouse. And of course, the mouse is trying to rediscover himself, blah, blah, blah. So, I told you the mice are sexier, but they're not hotter. So, they can eat whatever they want without getting fat. However, when you expose them to cold, they shiver to death. Okay? That is sad. So, we won't subject them to cold, and they lived happily. Nonetheless, do you, by any chance, remember, if you're not too sleepy, what exactly was responsible for maintaining the body temperature or producing heat? Which kind of fat? Perfect, brown, exactly. So this means, this hinted at the fact that there seems to be some defect in the brown tissue. Okay. Now, I promise that we will play games today. We will have a nice game session, but it's the last session of the day, and I'm sure most of you have not had coffee. So we will have a little sleep check. People on my left, are you ready to play the game? Yes. People on my right, are you ready to play the game? Yes. People on the left, one last try. Are you ready to play the game? Yes. That's more like it. Okay, so we have to spot the differences. This is how the brown fat looks in a wild-type mouse. This is how it looks in a Clippy minus minus mice. Anybody, any guesses about what the differences are? Yes, the color. The brown becomes slightly whitish, and it's larger, right? And when you do a section of the fat, and when you do a staining, you see it has more lipid droplets. My job is to find out why. Similarly, in the white fat, what we see is the white fat is lesser because they are thinner, as well as it is more browned. My next job is to find out why does that happen. And this browning of white fat is actually beneficial for them because metabolically they are also protected, and yes, that was the rare discovery, that they are protected from in diabetes. When you have a high-fat diet, they don't have insulin resistance, and they're protected from diabetes. They have a better metabolism. So in the mitochondria, when you remove my bay, what you see is a skinny, super healthy mouse, but it is cold. And the next thing that I have to find is this missing piece of the puzzle, using my own set of scientific tools to find out the metabolic network of pathways that goes wrong in the brown fat and happens really well in the white fat to figure out what happens. I think I deserve a minute extra. Thank you. It's the last talk. I get the advantage. You must be wondering, all of these tools are common, but what is a treadmill doing here? So I went to my supervisor and I said, we are allowed to carry props to the Science Slam. So can I carry a mouse that I work with? They're really cute, trust me. And that's what it makes it very difficult for us to work with them, because they're cute. She, with very emotional eyes, looked at me and said, Rouse. So I could not get the mice to show you, but I could show you the kind of experiments that we do to determine if the mice are fit. And that's exactly what the treadmill meant as my tool, that you subject the wild type and the knockouts to this exercise, and you see that these guys are faring much better than these. So these are the actual kind of experiments that we do and extrapolate our studies to humans to be able to say that my bay Clippy could be used as a drug target to improve obesity and diabetes. Okay, and just the last 20 seconds, as science communication is my passion, and what I always do is connect science to society. So I just want to leave you with a thought before you go for a night's sleep. Fat bullying or fat shaming is a very serious issue. People think that if you negatively encourage people about their fat, you are actually doing them good and they'll be motivated to lose the fat. However, that doesn't happen in the cases. It's related to a lot of depression and a lot of deaths. So I just want to leave you with this message that say no to fat shaming, and in fact encourage people to not resort to fat shaming, because science says so. We have some models where one mutation in the gene, one replacement of a single letter from your entire millions and millions of genes, and these mice, they're kept on normal diet, and despite that, they gain a lot of weight. So sometimes it's all in your genes, and you have nothing to do with it. And that's all I want to leave you with, and of course, all of you matter, and thanks for being an excellent audience.
Das war für euch aus dem Exzellenzcluster der Graduiertenschule für Altersforschung Harshita Kaul.